Yakov Avinu asked the Kodesh Baruch Hu, "V'nasan li lechem le'echol ubeged lilboish." And we would think that lechem is lilbosh and beged is le'echol. Yakov Avinu, we know that you request food in order to eat, and you request clothing in order to get. The pasuk itself says in Dvarim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives to the ger lechem v'simla. It doesn't say lechem le'echol v'simla lilbosh, because we understand that's what you do. More than that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised Yaakov, ushmarticha, I will guard you, I will watch over you. So what do you think? He's going to keep you naked? He's going to keep you hungry? Why is he asking lechem le'echol and beged lilbosh? We wouldn't think that he was going to want a lechem lilbosh and beged le'echol. We find many answers. The Sefono says, I want to be able to eat the bread that Chalila, if I'm so poor, even though I have a avtacha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shmarticha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to watch over me, but if I'm so poor. So when a person is poor, he has a tremendous nisayon. And sometimes it's so difficult that his connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is severed somewhat. So Yaakov Avinu meant, I want the bread, I want to be able to eat it, so I'll be satiated, because if I'm so poor and I don't have what to wear and I don't have food to eat, maybe Chalila, I'm not going to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Shach says, Shach on the Torah, Siftei Kohen, that's from the disciples of the Arizal Reb Mordechai Kohen of Tzfat about 450 years ago, and he says, yes, you can have bread, sometimes you can have a lot of bread, but if you're sick, you don't have any appetite. You can have the finest clothing there is, but if you're sick, they're in the closet and you're wearing pajamas. If you're in the hospital, you're not wearing your clothing. So Yaakov Avinu asks, I want bread, but I won't be able to use it. I want clothing, I want to be able to use it as well. Or he says, I want bread and I want clothing to give to others. Because that Yaakov Avinu was all about tzedakah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says about Avraham Avinu, Ki yadativ, I love Avraham. Why? Le'man asher yetzav et banav v'zbeisu achav v'sham hu derech Hashem la'asot tzedakah u'mishpat. They do tzedakah in this household. So Yaakov Avinu said, I'm not worried about myself. You think I'm worried about food? You think I'm worried about clothing? I want to have food and clothing enough to support others. The Baal HaTurim says, the kavana of Yaakov Avinu, when he said food and clothing, he meant, I want to have the kehuna, which is in essence the bechoira, the firstborn's rights, that I got from Esav. Based on that, what Yaakov Avinu was saying, I want bread. What type of food was he asking for? To eat from the menachos of Beis HaMikdash. What kind of clothing? Big day kehuna. I don't need my regular suit. I want the big day kehuna. That's what he was requesting. The Radak, Rabbeinu Bechaye, Rabbeinu Avraham, the son of the Rambam. They all say, and others say as well, what Yaakov Avinu was actually requesting here, that he should have the midah of histapkus. Be mistapek bemuat. I can ask Allah for a lot of food, but I wouldn't be happy with, even when I'm stuck, only with bread, only with a shirt and pants to wear. That's it, and I don't need more than that. The Chafetz Chaim, in a few of his Sfarim, the Bir Halacha, a kuntres called Sfas Tamim, in his Sefer Shem Oila, keeps talking about this point, that a person should not ask for more than what he really needs. And in Bir Halacha, in Siman Tav Kuf Chavtes, it says that don't skimp on your expenses for Yontif, but anywhere else you should. Why? Because in the Gemara in Beitza Daf Tes Vav Amud Beis Tes Vayin Amud Aleph, the Gemara says, Kol mezonoisav shel adam ktsuvim loy mi Rosh Hashanah ve'ad Rosh Hashanah. A person's income is decreed on Rosh Hashanah. But if you go crazy and you start spending more than what was allocated for you, you're not going to get extra. And then in Bir Halacha, the Chafetz Chaim says, so where does it stem from? Are there any women in the women's section? I hope not. I don't know if there's any women listening to us, because he says it all because of the women. I'm just quoting you the Bir Halacha. The Bir Halacha says because they want to buy this and want to buy this, and the Bir Halacha says praiseworthy is the person who knows how to calculate what he has and doesn't spend more than that. But that's not the only reason, because he continues talking about it in other of his Svarim, and in other of his Svarim, in Sfas Tamim, Perek Hey in Sfas Tamim, he writes that the reason is because of the men. Already men in the men's section. Women, listen. Because of the men, because we want to keep up with the Joneses. because I want to impress others, because I want to be like, you saw the fancy chasana that this guy made, you saw the car that he's driving, and because when people want to keep up with the others, if trying to impress others, they spend more than what they have. And he says that this causes a person to steal, and a person to come to embarrassment, and a person to become poor. In Shem Olam he writes that because of the desire for kavod, people will see me that I have this and this and that, and then they'll respect me. So his main reason to be against it was, when you want all this luxury, you need money. And in order to attain this money, you need to spend more time working. And when you spend more time, it comes on the cheshbon of learning Torah. That's why the Chafetz Chaim was bothered by the pursuit of what he calls luxus, moitaros, luxury, things that people don't need when they can be mistapik b'muat. In fact, once he went to visit one of his grandsons, and he saw beautiful curtains on the window, and the Chafetz Chaim says, wow, I see pages of Gemara covering the window. He refused to go into that house for another year. For a full year he didn't step foot in that house. Sometime, in a different time, he went to somebody's house and there were carpets on the floor, and he says, wow, I feel like I'm stepping on pages of Gemara. That's how Chafetz Chaim felt about what he felt is running after superfluous things that people do not need. So those are a few reasons why Yaakov Avinu was asking for lechem le'echol ubeged lilbosh and nothing else more than that. But perhaps the best answer, b'derech tzachus, Rabbi say b'derech tzachus, but some explain. Sometimes you eat the food, you eat, and then your clothes don't fit anymore. So Yaakov Avinu was asking, I want beged, I want lechem le'echol. I want to be able to eat my bread. But the beged that I bought last week should still fit this week. That's Mistama is the most accurate answer. Why? Well, you think he cared that he's going to be heavy? Because if he's heavy, he's going to slow down his observance and his zrizus to do mitzvahs. Because the Ochos Tzadikim writes that Tzadikim kol ma'asehim b'zrizus. He's not be able to run to shul as fast as he did yesterday if he's heavier today. Mistama, that's the reason he was asking for this request.